Welcome to our latest live from Valued. And you can see today we've got our good friends at FYI joining us today to talk about supercharging your XPM practice, your Zero Practice Manager practice. This is Jacob from FYI. Jacob is here to tell us all about FYI today and how it can help and what it can do to assist you in terms of running your practice and helping automate functions within your practice. Jacob, would you like to introduce yourself to the audience?
Cool. Absolutely. Cheers, David. And obviously, thank you to yourself and Valued for allowing us on your channel. So super excited to be here. Just a background regarding myself. I've been with FYI for the past 6 months, and I'm the UK New Business Manager. Previously, I worked as a chartered accountant back home in New Zealand and made the move over to the UK, did a bit of industry work, saw the light, obviously, got tapped on the shoulder, saying that the FYI were moving over to the UK and expanding and looking for a more physical presence over here. So that's me, and looking forward to getting the FYI brand out in the UK and seeing what we can do.
Well, thanks very much for the intro there. In terms of our time today, Jacob, would you be so kind as to bring up our agenda for today?
Yeah, of course. If I just move my slides on 1 second. There we go. So obviously introductions, now agenda.
Right, we are. So as it says there, literally, we're going to go through just very simply today a little bit of an explanation about what FYI is and how it will help. We're going to look at some common practice issues, some issues faced by the majority of accountancy practices when they're dealing with their day-to-day operation. From there, we're going to move into a platform demo. We'll show you exactly what to expect from FYI and how it works and how it can help you in terms of its interaction with XPM. We'll then have a look at what the next steps are for you wonderful people. So if you decide that this is the platform for you, then absolutely, what can you do to move forward with that? And finally, we've got some time for questions that we can then see if we can answer them for you. So from there, yeah, absolutely. Jacob, if you would be so kind as to tell us a little bit about what FYI is.
Cool. Cheers, David. So yeah, as mentioned, I'll just quickly touch base and provide a little bit of background in respect to who we are and what we do. So first and foremost, FYI is an online document management, collaboration, and automation platform, which is purpose-built for accountants. So this means we only service the accounting market, which allows us to provide a specialist product and relevant integrations to you and your team. So not only are we purpose-built for accountants, we're actually built by accountants. So our CEO back in Australia, Rob Cameron, he's a CA himself, and he's actually spent the last 25 years providing document management solutions for accounting firms. So although FYI may be young, we're built on a strong foundation, which really helps us to provide a product that truly works for accounting firms. So before I jump into a live demo, I'll just quickly run over our 9 core modules and then any common issues that practices are seeing today and how we can actually resolve those issues. So we're a lot broader than the traditional DM platform. So we do have the expected tools such as email management, document management, and search and retrieval. However, on top of that, we have a lot more powerful features such as the CRM. So taking cues from more generic engines such as HubSpot, we allow you to integrate, record interactions beyond emails such as phone call records and meeting records, whilst also collating information from multiple sources. So we have everything in one client file. So we also have task management. So with features that you may have seen in products like Trello or Asana, we have task management inside FYI, which allows you to delegate, manage, schedule, and automate tasks in your practice. Now that really just completely removes the need to forward emails internally, and it really makes sure that nothing slips through the cracks. We have job management and timesheet recording in conjunction with Zero Practice Manager. So FYI utilizes the existing jobs in XPM, but extends that functionality. So FYI gives you your team access to bulk update jobs or manage them individually, or you could also manage them through our user-friendly Kanban board. So with that integration, your team can then work collaboratively from one app, being FYI, rather than constantly jumping, say, between XPM and FYI. So we also have document workflows. So this relates to the streamlined review and approval of documents in your practice. It is a simple feature, but it does enable your team to collaborate on emails or documents to ensure that they are the highest quality, and then even being formally approved before sending out to your client. We have client collaboration. So your clients will no longer have to remember a further username or password to upload documents. FYI's approach to the client portal allows you to share documents with your clients securely and have clients upload documents to you and allow you and your client to work on it at the exact same time. And that's without the need of another set of complex instructions. And then finally, we do have process automation. So we believe this is a platform in itself. It underpins everything that we've built. So put simply, FY allows your team to design their own custom process and have that triggered on cue. For example, say you want to send a firm update to all your clients at once. You want to automate your quarterly VAT collection process, or just make sure that all new clients are onboarded the same way. That can all easily be done through a FY automation. So I will go through all of that in our demo, but just briefly, we'll give you a bit of a background between the FY and Valued partnership. So as I said, FY has been a dominant player in the Australia and New Zealand market for 4 years now, and we've just really started to kick it up a gear in the UK over here, with us now having a physical presence over here. So prior to this, FY and Valued initially started working together when a firm called XPM, which is a 100-seat practice in Coventry, established a relationship. So they were considering the move to XPM. David, if you wouldn't mind just elaborating a little bit more on how you helped the team at XPM and how they discovered FYI.
So way back in June of 2020, as it was now, so this shows you how long we've been trying to work together in terms of FYI and Zero Practice Manager. HB&O came to us through a third party, and they were looking for an implementer of Zero Practice Manager. After an initial demonstration of the system, and they agreed that in conjunction with FYI, this was going to provide them with the functionality that they needed in the practice, they decided to go ahead with the project on both sides. So from my perspective, I was then there to help work through the XPM part of the project to ensure that and currently I think they have about 115 staff in the system, and about 5,000 clients. But getting that information out of their existing systems, getting that sanitized, getting that then formatted and brought into Zero Practice Manager was all the areas that I was responsible for. That, making sure that the architecture of the job structures was correct, and then making sure that the team was trained in the use of XPM. On the FYI side of things, Cassie, one of FYI's implementers, was there to effectively do their equivalent of that, which was, again, getting the system set up, making sure that documents were being migrated across properly. If I recall, I think they had about 1.4 million documents to be migrated into their system. So this gives you some idea of the scale of the work that's involved with a practice of that size. Admittedly, not all practices are going to be of the same scale as HB&O, but at the same time, this proves that scale is not an issue. So it doesn't matter whether you're a small practice, with a very small number of employees, or maybe even a one-man band, all the way up to practices of 100+ staff, thousands of clients, and literally, hundreds of thousands of records. FYI can certainly cope with the capacity with regard to that. But the automation that FYI then brought to the table was essential. Certainly when you consider that XPM itself doesn't have any form of automation or logic engine within it, FYI can really make a massive impact in terms of those types of processes. And certainly for HB&O, it made all of the difference in terms of what the system was going to provide to them.
Yeah, absolutely. No, thanks for that, David. Yeah, so HB&O, obviously it's been live with FY for just over a year now. They're really starting to see the efficiencies that it can bring to an XPM practice like themselves. But yeah, as I said, I'll jump into some of those common practice issues, a little bit about the onboarding process and how FY can help you step by step along the journey of that implementation and migration of documents.
Excellent.
So cheers. Thanks for that, David.
No worries. So then.
Yeah, I'll jump back in. So obviously leading on to those pain points that FY can solve. So if you just look across this slide here, so workflow management, so it provides that visibility of jobs firm-wide and the ability to update your jobs and maintain them within the platform. We also have a look at bulk client communication. So through that automation, we can automate emails coming from partners, managers, and admin, and easily too specific or all clients within an instant.
Certainly one of the more common questions that is asked when I'm having conversations with clients is the likes of bulk emails, etc.
Exactly, yeah. So again, it's very streamlined within FYI, and it doesn't take long to set up as long as you provide that initial work when you start using FYI, then it's smooth sailing going forward. So yeah, we also have e-signing, so there's no more back and forth with clients. We integrate with all of those best of practice e-signing tools, so you don't need to wait on a signed version to update. It all ends up within that e-signing application of your choice, all sitting within our platform. We also have that task management piece, practice-wide collaboration around those to-dos that need to be done within the office or within your team. So we definitely touch on that. So as I said earlier, make sure nothing slips through the cracks. And then again, that automation piece. So really make sure that, again, nothing gets skipped in a process and the whole platform is really secure and reliable whilst also all being cloud-based.
Very good. So yes, plenty to be had from the collaboration between the two systems.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we really just take XPM to the next level. So I'll just move on. In case you're wondering, we do have 9,000 active FY users with new practices coming on board every week. So I hope there's a few recognizable local and global brands in the background there, just to reassure everybody that we are a well-established platform in the ecosystem.
I'm sure we'll recognize one or two names on there. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. So just in terms of that onboarding piece, as I said, as you said, David, with firms the size of HB&O, and also we go all the way down to those small sole trader practices, anything like that. We, in respects to data migration, we've migrated historical documents from over a dozen different legacy systems for close to 600 firms over the last 36 months. And again, migrating over 100 million documents over that time period.
That's a staggering number.
Yeah, so there's no issues in terms of size of documents, that type of thing. The practice since going live, the platform since going live has uptime of 99.99%. So we very rarely have issues in that area. And the important thing to note is obviously migration is super easy, and we would help you step by step along the way.
Great stuff.
So without further ado, I'll jump into the live demo and show you around the platform. Give me 1 second. There we go. Cool. So you can see that all right there, David?
Can indeed.
Brilliant. So as you can see, just before I start in there's a lot to get through in this demo. So hopefully don't be too overwhelmed. If you do have any questions after this, please reach out and I can run through that in a bit more detail. But however, this will just be more of an overview and over all of our modules that I've just covered earlier. So to access FY, you simply go into your preferred internet browser and log in with Windows. So something to note here is that we do support that two-factor authentication through the Microsoft login. So if you do have this, then you would also have that through FYI. FYI is completely cloud-based, which means you can maintain the up-to-date client information in one shared place for your team, so you can access that from anywhere at any time. So when you log into FYI, you get taken directly through to your homepage, and from here you have all your recent documents that you've been working on. So you've got that one-click access directly back to where you left off. You also have any of those to-do tasks, as I mentioned earlier, any delegated tasks, current jobs assigned to you, approvals or time. So it's just a nice dashboard format for you just to really get stuck into where you've just left off. So I'll jump into the client section now. Now this is a complete client listing of all of those, all your clients pulling in from XPM. So the idea here is that the XPM is your single source of truth. So all of that critical data, such as the name of the client, email address, and phone number, that is all maintained within XPM, and then that flows through into FYI. So it's a two-way sync there. So the things that you can use in FYIs, such as bulk updating clients for partner manager, bulk update jobs, anything like that, you can make those changes within FYI that would flow directly through into XPM. So from here, you can search any client you wish. So I'll just go ahead and search our demo client there, being Charlie Brown. So I've just jumped into Charlie, and it's taken us through to that dedicated workspace. So this is that CRM approach coming in to the fore here. It's an up-to-date summary of each client's affairs, and it provides all that key data in one space for you to really just get a grip on everything regarding Charlie. So from here, you have one-click access directly into your practice manager as well. As you can see, name, email, phone number, manager and partner all down the left-hand side here. You can create your phone call records here, and also you have that quick snapshot of all of those documents and tasks that you've recently been working on. So from here, you can actually transition between clients within a group. So XPM Practices normally generally use that group function. However, obviously not all the time, but using that group function within XPM really enhances FYI. So say if I wanted to jump directly into the company, into Charlie's company, I could just click on Charlie's company here, and then it would be a client dedicated workspace, all everything to do with the company. So it really just splits out all that other information and has it sitting there at your fingertips. So I'll deselect the client now. And just by deselecting that client, now we're in a group dedicated workspace. So we have all the clients relating to the group in one area. We have all jobs sitting in here, ready for you to view in a list or Kanban board format. Any of those to-do tasks and documents all sitting in one area for you. So I'll jump back into Charlie now. And if I go back to the summary area, so this is where I like to take viewers through a day in the life journey through FYI. So we are able to leverage many of those different features FYI has along the way. So let's imagine I'm the partner on the job, the partner being David. I'm currently signed in as David, and he's just had a phone call from his client being Charlie, who's wanting to apply for some funding through the bank. And he's actually needs those finalized financials and tax returns to be done straight away. So David's just jumped off the phone and he's gone directly into that client dedicated workspace, and he's just going to write some notes. So we're just going to do a phone call record here. From here, I'll just write some quick notes. Say, applying for new funding. Main source docs. Required told Charlie to send later today. Second, so later today there. So I'll just go ahead and create that. And that's automatically going to open that phone call record for us. And now, as you can see on the right-hand side, that's been automatically filed under the correspondence, the year, and the job. So this is our default cabinet here. You can obviously change that to whatever you wish. If I moved it to, say, financial planning, then that would automatically update within FYI under the documents area of that dedicated workspace. So if I jump into the documents area, there you go. You can see that funding application right up the top there, and you can quickly make any changes you wish or add to that. So it really just provides that visibility for the entire team to know exactly what's going on with the client. So there's no, double contact there with the client. So as mentioned in the phone call record, David receives a email from Charlie throughout the day. So I'm just going to send that away from Charlie's email address. So from here, I'm just going to show you how we utilize the email auto filing within FYI through our Microsoft Outlook add-in. So we do this by leveraging the XPM database. So as you'll see in a second, once that email comes through, FYI is going to look at that email address that has come through and try and match it up with an email in your XPM client listing. So if we just give that 1 second to open up, you'll see our Outlook add-in here. So if I click on the filing area, you'll see that it's automatically found Charlie's email address and it's put it through to the correspondence cabinet. As I said earlier, you can make any changes to that and it would automatically update within FYI. So just without you really having to do much at all, it's automatically filed an FYI for you, and it's also filed the attachments against the email. So as you can see, that name for the PDF is not that helpful. So from here, you can actually clean that data before it actually steps foot in FYI. So I'm just going to go ahead and rename them to bank statements and tick that along. Now that would have automatically updated with an FYI. So I'll jump back in and refresh the documents workspace area, and you'll see there's the email along with the bank statements and that dividend details. So if I click onto that email, this is where you get provided with a nice view of that email, a preview of that email. You don't actually need to open it up, and you don't need to go back into your Microsoft Outlook to search for that email. We just give that 1 second. It shouldn't be too long, unless the internet is playing up. Fingers crossed it isn't. There we go. So here's, sorry. There we go. There's our bank statements. So that's great. So it's all within one area for you. And yeah, as I said, you don't need to be searching through your Outlook. Everything's been saved within FYI. Now, let's say, for example, you receive a cash flow, you receive an email from your client that's asking for, say, a cash flow analysis, something like that, and you need to assign that out to a team member. So this is where that task management feature of FYI comes into play. As you can see, you can add a task to that email, and from here, you can assign this directly out to the appropriate staff member. So I'm just going to say, please review and start job. From here, I can assign that to the manager on the job. So let's say Liz being the manager. And the important thing to note here is the email and the attachments are going to flow through with this task. So just by clicking create, that has been assigned to Liz under her My Task area. And the great thing about this is that you can actually delete this email if you wish, if you're brave enough. The thing is, it's already saved within FYI. If you did delete it, it would still stay within FYI. So if I go back in and click on the home page and we go to delegated tasks, there you'll see there's that delegated task which has been assigned to Liz. And from here, again, you've got that quick preview of that email along with the attachments which flow through with that task. So there's that email. Click onto the attachments. From there, you've got everything at your fingertips within one area. So just like that. And then if I was signed in as Liz, that would be sitting under her My Tasks area. So it's just a nice compact view to really keep track of all of those ad hoc tasks which come through from clients on a day-to-day basis. So I'll jump back into that task and go directly back into the client dedicated workspace. And from here, I'll jump into the task area. So this is all of those incomplete tasks which are sitting under Charlie. So I've just created that incomplete task view there. And again, you can customize those views to whatever you wish. So I'll just jump in. You'll see that task there. So please review and start job. Let's say that Liz has reviewed all those documents and she's happy with them. I'm just going to go ahead and click complete. And just by refreshing that, you'll notice that that task has now been complete and it's disappeared off that incomplete list. So on a broader scale, if you wanted to view all your tasks practice-wide, all you need to do is click the task area up the top here, and then you would have all of the tasks for the entire practice at your fingertips. So again, it just provides that visibility across the entire firm. Everyone knows exactly what they're responsible for, and nothing slips through the cracks. And it also gives you the ability to bulk reassign tasks if, say, for example, one of your staff members were getting overloaded with work. Now, let's move on now, and we'll jump into a job-specific workspace. So as you can see, I'm in the group under Charlie under the 2021 compliance job. Now, this provides just a quick snapshot of all that critical data relating to the job. So this is everything, all documents, all tasks relating to this job. So you'll see on the left-hand side, you have budget, estimated and actual time, along with start and due date. And again, the manager and partner assigned. So again, it just provides that same sort of interface as the client's area. Everything is nice and simple within FYI, and it all looks nice and aesthetically pleasing. So from here, let's say, for example, Liz wanted to start an automated process to complete Charlie's compliance work for 2021. So I'll jump into the processes area. Now, this is a complete listing of all of those automations which have been customized for your practice. As you can see, we've got the compliance demo here. I'm just going to go ahead and run that. And I'll run that in. And I'll jump into the process history tab. Now, this provides a complete listing of all of those processes which have been run for Charlie. And I'll jump into the top one. It's just a step-by-step process which is already started by FYI on your behalf. So you'll see the first 4 steps of this process have already been run. Now, what has FYI actually done for you? It's saved down an income tax return checklist, which has been based off a template within the system. Again, you can create any template you wish within FYI. And again, this has actually been created in co-edit mode, so you can edit that at the same time as your client. It's also saved down an email with that checklist attached, and it's set as draft. So if you wanted to, if you're really confident, you can set that to be sent out immediately. But again, that's obviously your preference. The job state is updated to pending client info, and then it's also saved down some work papers for you. Now we're at step 5, which is considered a blocking task. Now this gets assigned to the manager on the job, and obviously it is their responsibility to make sure all of those documents are in before starting that job. So the process won't continue until that task has been completed by the manager. So I'll jump back into the summary area and just refresh FYI, and you'll notice that job state would have updated. Now, this process is actually designed for us to reach out to the client. Given that Charlie did reach out to us, we're going to go ahead and update that job state again to being in progress. So you notice there it is. So it's been updated by the automation for you. So you don't really need to do anything at all. But now we want to update that. So you can update that on a one-to-one basis just by clicking in progress here. Again, that would automatically flow through into XPM and update for you. You could update it at a group level. So if you're working with a big group and you wanted to make sure that all those job states are at the same level, say for the company and both individuals, that type of thing, you can do it at a group level. Or you could also do it via the Kanban board, which I will show you shortly. But moving on, I've just jumped into the jobs area and I'll just click on all. So this is a complete listing of all of those jobs for your entire practice. Again, there's a two-way sync there with XPM. So from this area, again, you can customize this view. You can save your own, save anything that really suits your practice. However, I won't go into that to too much detail, but I will just jump into a couple of filters here. So from here, I can filter for pending client info. Say, for example, I wanted to filter for anything that's overdue. So I'll go relative and then go past. And now I just want to look at David's job, sorry. So as I've already saved a view for David's job specifically. Sorry, I've just jumped out of that. So I'll just quickly filter for those again. Relative in the past, there we go. So that just provides that nice and easy view of any jobs you need to chase clients with, because obviously they're overdue. So it's nice and easy to view and see whereabouts those jobs are sitting. So I'll jump into the board view again. So for those of you obviously that like to work more visually, this is a nice and easy approach to it. So it gives you a really good idea of where all your bottlenecks are sitting. So there's obviously a lot sitting in pending client info, and you can see that this is the job that we ran that automation off. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop that over to in progress. Now, again, that would update within FYI and XPM. So it's an easy drag and drop, nice and super simple for you to keep track of your jobs. So I'll jump into that job card and open it up on the right-hand side here. You'll notice we have a comment section. So this is for all communication relating to the job. It makes sure everything is in FYI. If you need an update on that job, you can tag your staff member. So obviously David here has tagged Liz, being the manager on the job, and he wants an update on it. So just by tagging Liz in here, Liz would then get a notification. She could jump straight into this comments area and reply to David saying it's out for, we're waiting on information from the client, that type of thing. So just make sure that all that client communication is in one place for you and it is attached to the job. So I'm just going to go back into that job now, hop out of the board there. And now that checklist that we saved in earlier is all in the documents area here for you. So I'm just going to jump into that. Let's say, for example, we're actually still missing a piece of information. I'm just going to open up that checklist for it. Now you can open this up online or via your desktop. So I've currently got it set up to be open via my desktop, but that is very easy to change. All you need to do is jump into your settings and update that for your personal preference. So you'll notice that this has been personalized, and from here we utilize those XPM custom fields. So it's been personalized for Charlie. I'm just going to go ahead and update some information. So bank details have been complete. Interest certificates, I'll just say we've got all of that information. However, say we're missing some rental property information. So I'll just highlight that so it's nice and easy for Charlie to see. You'll notice that we've got a link here. So this is our approach to the client collaboration. So each one of your clients would have a dedicated OneDrive folder just from being within FYI. Now, the idea being you'd send them this link, they'd open up that link, get taken through a verification process. Now, that verification process I'll go through shortly. It is super easy for the client. And from there, he can literally drag and drop all of those documents into that OneDrive folder. Now, the great thing about that is that those documents would automatically flow through into Charlie's dedicated workspace under the Documents tab. So there's nothing you need to do. You don't need to save them in manually. FY does that for you. And what's even better on that, you can actually create an automation off that to automatically notify you when Charlie has dropped some documents in for your review. So I'll just go ahead and check that back in and just refresh the documents area there. And now let's say I want to fire that checklist out for Charlie to review. So I've just opened up that email, which we saved in via the automation. And from here, we've just got an easy template that we've already created. You can create any email templates, any document templates, PDF, anything like that in the knowledge area of FYI. So yeah, nice and easily done. But let's say, for example, you're not actually the communicating accountant on the job and you need to get approval for this email. So you notice the workflow function on the right-hand side here. Let's say all I need to do is chuck that to pending approval. And now I am signed in as the partner on the job. So I'm just going to make the approver me. And just by doing that, I'll jump back into the homepage area. And now under my approvals, you'll see that that email is there ready for the partner to review. So it's super easy, super simple. And it makes sure that those documents are obviously the highest quality before firing out to your client. So from this area, you can literally send this through, you can send this on to the client through FYI. You can draft it in Outlook. Obviously, we believe best practice, send it through FYI. So I'm just going to go ahead and send that. Now that would automatically approve that task there, and it would transfer it directly through to David's Outlook. So you'll see down the bottom there, that's firing away that checklist. And as soon as that is done, if I jump back into my recents, go back into Charlie, under the documents area, you'll see that that checklist has actually got a read-only icon. Now that is indicating that it is approved. So if I jump into the preview area, you'll see there that email has been sent out to Charlie. There we go. So that has been sent from David's email address through to Charlie. Now, if I jump into Charlie's emails, it shouldn't be too far away. There we go. So there's that email fired through from David. And you'll notice we've actually sent that as a link. Now, you can send them via as an attachment. However, we do believe that best practice is to send it as a link, as that's just really less susceptible just to any breaches in security or being intercepted, that type of thing. So I'll open up that link. Now, I believe I did do the verification process earlier, so it's going to take us directly in. However, what the client would receive is this verification code here. So they would just get asked to enter in this verification code, and just like that, they would have access to this document. So what's really great, they don't need to be a Microsoft 365 user to access the document. They are just simply added as a free guest user to the practice account when you first share that document with them. So as you can see now, we're in it on Charlie's side. However, I'll just jump back into the practice side and show you how you can actually collaborate with Charlie on that document at the same time. So I'll open up that checklist. Now, this is really great just when, say, for example, your client is confused about what they need to send to you. They jump on the phone and they ask, what do I need to do here? You can easily jump into this document as it is in co-edit mode, and you can actually see Charlie's working on it at the exact same time as you. From here, you can take them through the whole process step by step and make sure that they know exactly what they need to do. So it's very simple there. So I'll just check that back in. Hop back into FYI. Now, let's just say we're happy with that. I'll jump into the work papers now just to move on shortly. From here, I'll show you how we actually link those source documents into our work papers. Again, these are just based off a template, so you can bring in whatever work papers you wish. So we just give that 1 second to open, and we will utilize the document search function within FYI. So we give that 1 second, opening up on the side there. One other important thing to note is we actually have autosave automatically on for you. So it's saving after every single click. And if, God forbid, your computer crashed, anything like that, we would automatically save a backup for you. So you can literally just drag and drop that back into FYI. So you're never going to lose any of that work that you've been working on. So as I said, we've actually got a search function here. You can see that it's automatically pulled up Charlie, and I'm just going to move that to correspondence. And from here, all we need to do is hover our cursor over the cell that we want our documents to be into, and then just click on them on the right-hand side there. So just like that, I have saved in 5 links to those source documents really within a couple of minutes. So it's a super easy task. Then from something that previously could be quite tedious and time-consuming, it's really not the case within FYI. So I've checked that document back in. I'll hop out of there and just refresh that area. Now you'll see that those work papers, once it syncs, then you'll notice that has now been checked back into FYI. One thing to note here is that we do have version history control here. So if I hop into there, you'll see that there's saved in. From here, there's those previous versions that you have been working on. So you can see that this is the one that we saved in via that automation. You could set that as current. You could read that version, or again, it just provides that security that you're not going to lose that information. And again, the upload area here, say if your computer crashed, you'd have a backup within your OneDrive folder, and you can literally drag and drop that in. So I'm just going to go ahead and approve that now, seeing I've already showed you that process. I'll quickly approve it. That'll comment onto that document saying that document has now been approved. And from here, say we're pretty much up to the stage we want to send these out to the client for signature. However, the first thing that we need to do is just create a text letter. So you see the big green button at the top there. From here, you can create emails, meeting records, Word documents, anything you wish. I'll create a Word document for this case. I'll apply the stationery to the document, and here I will just use our text letter template that we have saved in the system, and I'll update that name. So if I go ahead and click create, it'll automatically create a version for us, and it'll open it for us, and it will save it in that documents area. So you see that text letter is saved in the background, and it's just going to open it off screen for us. There we go. So I'll just open up the add-in on the right-hand side there. And here I'll just show you how easy it is to add that partner signature in. So one thing to note, we have used those XPM custom fields again. So we've got the date, the address for the client, and the name. And again, the accountant on the job there. So if I jump into the signature area, just insert that signature. And there we go. So we've got David's signature in there already pulled up. So that's pretty much ready for it to be sent out to the client. So I'll just check that back in and hop out of that. And now we are ready to fire these out to the client. So from here, we can use our PDF convert button to just easily convert that Word document through to PDF version. So I'll just go ahead and do that. And obviously we just need to wait for that to sync. So that shouldn't take too long. There we go. So now I should be able to convert that over. Oh, sorry, that is the wrong button there. There we go. So I'll click PDF convert there. And now the great thing about that, it's not going to save it over that Word document. It's just going to save a new version of that tax letter. And it will save it in, obviously, PDF format. So we give that 1 second. It shouldn't be too far away. It's just converting it over. There we go. So we've got that tax letter there. So we've got the tax letter. And one thing I have forgotten to do, sorry, if I jump back into that process area, I'm going to go ahead and complete that process automation. So Liz has reviewed that task and she's happy with all that information and she's just going to go ahead and complete it. So I'll just complete that on her behalf. And now that'll trigger the remainder of that automation. I've just jumped a couple of steps there, apologies, but that should not be too much of an issue. If I jump back into the work papers, there we go. So we've got the tax letter and the financial statements all approved for you. So now we will fire them out for signature. If I just select them on the left-hand side there, click signature. From here, we have any of those best-in-class signing services for you. So we've got Annature, FuseSign, MyProsperity, Adobe. And of course, it is very simple to integrate FYI with these signing services. So if you don't use any of these, then of course, we should be able to integrate with your preferred signing service. So I'll just use Annature for this demonstration, and I'll just update that subject to tax pack. You notice we've got an automated message there that just pulled through. It's going to update the workflow of those documents to pending client signature. So I'll just go ahead and click create. Now, by clicking create, that'll automatically push us through to the Annature signing service. And it will also save down a web link in FYI. So say, for example, you want to figure out whereabouts those documents are sitting with the client. You could easily click on this web link and it would take you directly through to the signing process. So as you can see, we've got our tax letter and financial statements. We've got the recipient and we've got that message going through to Charlie. So all we need to do is just prepare those documents. So we'll jump back in and prepare. So all we need to do is say, for example, we want the client to sign the balance sheet. I'll just drag that signature field over and click Save Changes. Now we're ready to fire that out to the client. So I'll just send that envelope and Annature will do a couple of things. It will send that through to Charlie for signature, and it will also take us through to the audit log area. So you notice, there we go. It sent out a Charlie an email of that envelope to complete. It's updated the status to in progress. Now, if I jump back over to Charlie's emails, it shouldn't be too far away. There we go. So there's that email automatically sent through to Charlie. I'm just going to go ahead and review them for him and show you exactly how Annature works with FYI there. I'll review those documents and I'll click to begin and just adopt a signature for Charlie. Super simple on the client side. That is pretty much everything that the client needs to do. Just click finish signing. Now Annature will send that a copy of that assigned envelope of all those documents through to Charlie, and it'll also send a certificate of completion. So I'll jump back into Annature here and just refresh this area. Now you'll notice that that audit log would have changed to complete, and it sends out a copy of all those documents. Now, if I jump back into FYI, what has happened? Annature has automatically pushed those documents directly through to Charlie's dedicated workspace. So you will see there, we've got our financial statements, we've got our tax pack and our tax letter, and you'll notice the workflow is updated to client signed, and they're all locked at read only. So a couple other things, you'll notice we've got a couple of extra icons on the right-hand side here. If I click on thread, this just threads those two documents together. So it's got the original financial statements and then the signed financial statements. If I clear that, now that's the same with, say, for example, a big email chain. So back and forth with your client, you can easily collapse that into one record. And by clicking on the thread, you'll be able to see all of the emails relating to that subject. So if I jump back in, we've got actually another icon there, which is the staple icon. The way I like to look at it is you're in the office and you put a big staple through all those signed documents. That's exactly what you're seeing here. So if I click onto the tax pack, jump in there, you'll notice that this is a full collated version of all of those signed documents. There we go. So we've got our tax pack. We've got our tax letter. If I scroll down, there's that signed version there. So that's all signed by Charlie, and it's automatically saved within FYI without you having to do much at all. Now, the final feature for FYI, I understand there's a lot that we have gone through. I'll just work back on what we've actually achieved today. So we had that phone call with Charlie. We had all of those documents that were sent through. We completed the tax check, the tax checklist, the work papers, and then we got our documents back from Charlie for signature. So just like that, we can just tick them on the left-hand side there, and we can actually pre-populate those timesheet entries for you. So if I just click run there, that's automatically going to pre-populate those timesheet entries. If I jump into the My Time area, you'll see there we are, all set there for you. Now, again, you can make any changes you wish. You can update the job, the XPM task, or you can update the notes. But all we really need to do now, once reviewed, is just add some time. So I'll just add in just 10 minutes for each job, all the way down. And then just by clicking Submit Drafts, it'll automatically push those timesheet entries through to your practice management timesheet. From there, obviously, you would do all of your WIP and your invoicing. So just like that, it's very simple. Which could take 20, 30 minutes at the end of each day, it only really takes a couple of minutes through FYI. Now that is the end of the demo for today. That's a lot to go through. However, I'll just jump back into my slides and show you the next steps, basically where to next. So again, thank you for your engagement. Obviously, really appreciate that today. If I jump into what we can offer now. So if you want to learn more about FYI, the onboarding process, or book a more detailed Q&A, you can reach out to myself. I've got my email address there. So please reach out to me if you're interested. I'll be more than happy to take you through a more detailed demonstration of FYI. And if you want to learn more about XPM or jump into an XPM implementation, please reach out to David. David's email address is there, and he'll be more than happy to talk you through any options that you can look at going forward. So just a couple of things. We do offer a 30-day free trial with FYI. So in that trial, you would have access to all your features. You can invite your whole team, obviously free for 30 days, and there's no obligation. So it's just a great chance to have a play around FYI and see if you can start exploring those automations or any other modules that we have. Now, of course, we've got a special offer there. So if you are interested and you'd like to have a chat about FYI, we can offer the benefits of the Pro package for the price of Intermediate for the first 6 months once you're signed on. So that is everything, including automation, client collaboration, workflow, anything like that. As long as that proposal is accepted by the 31st of May. So if you're interested, please reach out to me. Again, my email address will be there for you. And that is pretty much it. This will be on Valued's YouTube channel for you to view. So again, if you're interested, please reach out. However, we will start taking questions, Q&A questions, if there is any at this stage. Jump back in. There we go. So if you've got any other questions, David, you can fire through if you wish.
Absolutely.
Otherwise,
no, thank you very much for that. The demo there, Jacob. I've got to admit, there is a lot to take in. This is a large system that is intended to underpin a practice. So exactly, in terms of what it can offer, obviously, it's got a lot of facets that any practice can really take advantage of. The first question I would like to raise is around that idea of automation. So, yeah, we've seen one or two samples there within the system. What would you say were probably the most typical automations that a practice would usually put in place with FYI?
Yeah, of course. So obviously the summary notification email, which I briefly touched on in there, is an easy one to set up. However, there are a few others. We do have sample automations, which you can actually import directly into your practice. So they would actually come with a 30-day free trial. So these would be things like setting up a new company, onboarding new clients, that type of thing. So, and then of course, there's other ones such as, bulk email updates, that type of thing. But really, it depends on your practice. You can create your own custom ones. You can change those sample automations to best suit your practice. Yeah. But there's so much that you can go into. We're constantly evolving. The automation piece is really exciting. Every week we've got new updates which are coming through. But yeah, once you've had a bit of a play around, you actually will understand how much value it can bring to your practice.
Absolutely. Obviously, you showed us there how you can record time within FYI. I must say, compared to how you would record time potentially within Zero Practice Manager itself, within FYI, it seems very, very simple. So would you say that you would encourage people to only record their time within FYI?
Absolutely, yeah. So obviously the idea is you spend pretty much your whole day within FYI, and it just really enhances all of those, say the jobs, the workflow jobs, the client data that sits in XPM. So it just extends that functionality. And again, yeah, you would record all of your time within FYI. And then when it comes to WIP billing, that's when you would jump into XPM and start looking at billing your clients. But again, I believe we potentially are looking at invoicing that type of thing within FYI, but it could be a little bit far away. But it's in the pipeline.
Don't reveal any trade secrets just yet, Jacob. I'm sure there's definitely areas that you're working on for future development. I'm sure
we're always working on different types.
Absolutely. Obviously, we've looked there at recording time against a client. There is also time that people will need to record that is internal as well. Can that also be run through FYI, or do we need to go into XPM to record that sort of internal time?
I believe you can. That's actually, I haven't been asked that before, but I do believe that you can. You just you can choose the client as internal. However, I will double check that. Obviously, it's a great question, and I'll double check that with the team. But I believe yes, you can.
Fantastic stuff. You mentioned in one of the benefits that FYI can bring, there's an option around scheduling as well. Could you tell me a little bit more about that, please?
Scheduling in terms of automation?
Is it just automation that we're looking at in terms of scheduling, or are there other scheduling abilities within FYI as well?
It's generally more leaning towards automation. So that meaning you can schedule all of those automation pieces to run, say, you could run it every single day. You could run it monthly, quarterly. So as I said, if you want to, one really good automation would be firing out an email to request the client zero bank feed to be approved, which I know is something that you need to do every 90 days over here in the UK. So again, you could schedule that to run every single 30 days to remind your client, please approve that so we can continue with your bank feed. So that type of thing.
Excellent time save in terms of
exactly, yeah. So just saves that, and so saves you time so you can really add more value to your clients.
Certainly. Obviously, there's been some developments very recently with regard to the bringing through of task level information from XPM.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so that's really exciting. Obviously, different practices say use those XPM tasks to track their jobs and track their time. So the great thing with FY, we've actually not only included the XPM standard job, but now we've included those XPM tasks which are pulling through into FY. So yeah, you can record time against those tasks. You can track those tasks throughout the job states, that type of thing as well, which is really exciting. However, yeah, it depends on how the practice works. If they just want to look at standard XPM jobs, then you can toggle that on and off. Or if they want to look at their XPM tasks area, which I should note is called job workflows within FYI. So not to be confused with the to-do task, which I showed on the demonstration today. But yeah, again, very, very exciting. We've just released that into the market, and yeah, it's looking really good.
I think you're absolutely right. In terms of the internal tasks that FYI can put in place, those are very much, as you said, to-dos. So I think that's the distinction there, as opposed to the actual task elements that form part of a job workflow within XPM. As you said, it's brand new. We're looking forward to seeing how people work with that moving forward. If you were looking at a practice that was considering taking on FYI, what would be your first recommendations in terms of what they should look at?
Yeah, of course. So obviously, reach out to me, and we would book a what we call discovery call. So from there, we would get more of an idea of obviously the practice, their migration requirements, what current DM solution they would be using right now, and then of course I'd jump through and show them through the onboarding process, which should detail out training, the whole migration implementation of FYI, and anything else that we need to look into. So from that point, yeah, we'd take them through a migration process, which generally takes 4 to 6 weeks. And then from there, we'd book in a go live date and work towards that day.
Excellent. So as you would say, for the majority of practices, 4 to 6 weeks would be ample time to go from the very beginning to being ready to go live effectively.
Yeah, exactly. So obviously, yeah, we're guided by the client, we're guided by the practice, so we can really just work towards whatever needs they want. So if they want to implement within 4 to 5 weeks, we can make that happen. If they want a more detailed approach, or they want a longer journey so they can really get used to the software and the platform, then we can easily push it out. But yeah, generally 4 to 6 weeks is very doable.
Fantastic stuff. Am I right in remembering that FYI can now surface the custom fields that you might create within XPM as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So we can utilize the client and jobs custom fields within FYI. So I mean, that really does make the platform very beneficial. So you can utilize that via the client or jobs, and you could jump into, say, any automation. You can bulk update all of those XPM custom fields within FYI. So yeah, again, there's no need to jump back into XPM. You can literally manage them all in one platform. And that's, basically why we say you spend pretty much the majority of the day within the FYI platform.
Yeah. In terms of just within XPM itself, bulk updates can only really take place via an import. In terms of FYI, where would you go to perform a bulk update such as that?
You can literally do it from the client listing, jobs listing. You could do it within the client dedicated workspace. You could bulk update any of the jobs within there. All you need to do really is select them all on the side, and then that would open up a drawer. From there, you could update custom fields, manage a partner, job state, anything you wish. Really, it's super simple. But yeah, again, you've got all of that functionality within FYI, which is really exciting.
Really, really easy. Oh, that's excellent. If you were, and again, I know we're drawing towards the close of our time here, but if you were thinking about the common questions that you're often asked by a client who's going through an implementation, or perhaps the sort of regular issues that can sometimes come up as part of an implementation, is there any sort of pitfalls that you can advise to avoid, or things that can cause hiccups that we can navigate around? A common one in terms of XPM is often things like naming conventions and client records, but is there anything that FYI would tell you to look out for and avoid?
Yeah, well, the thing is, we work with the practice before we implement all that software. So it's all actually part of the onboarding process. So we'll jump in, say, and look at all of your files, say if it was on Windows Explorer, Virtual Cabinet, anything like that. We'll look into it and make sure that it is in the best fit, the best format for us to implement that, migrate that over to FYI. So again, it does sometimes take a little bit of work there to make sure that it all pulls through correctly. However, we work through with the practice throughout that process.
Excellent. It's always good to know that you're on hand if there's any issues that need to be resolved. It's always
Absolutely.
good from a client perspective to know that there's somebody there to back you up.
Yeah, definitely.
We are at the end of our session today, so it just falls to me to say thank you so much to Jacob for your time today and for that fantastic demo of FYI. As we've said, if anybody out there is looking to find out anything more, then by all means reach out to either myself, David at Valued, or Jacob at FYI. And we'd be more than happy to answer any further questions that you might have around either Zero Practice Manager or FYI, or the two systems in conjunction. Thanks again for your time today, Jacob, and hopefully we'll be speaking to you again very, very soon.
No worries. Thank you, David, and thanks to Value for having us on the channel. It's very much appreciated.
No, it's been a pleasure. You take care. Have a great day.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.